The emotions of a moment this big. A night that legends are made, right? So the Cubs trying to rally. Brian Shaw, Javi Baez, Jason Hayward steals and gets to third as the Yan Gomes throw ends up in center. So Hayward's on third. Baez talking to Gary Jones. 3-2 pitch. This guy homered earlier in the game, tries to lay down the safety, and he's out. Dexter Fowler, who hit a homer in the first to lead things off. And what a play here from Lindor on a 2-0 pitch. He's on the second base side. Man, there's so many young, talented players in this series. It's scoreless. Maddon talking to Joe West. All night long, we were concerned about the possibility that rain would come in. It did. And the Cubs huddled up, talked about who they were. Jason Hayward, you've heard the guys talk about how important he was to remind them who they were. Best team in the game. Kyle Schwarber. How about the fact that the American League wins the All-Star game, so the final game of the season is played here in Cleveland, which means Schwarber can participate in the game. He gets a knock. Albert Almora advanced to second on a fly ball from Kris Bryant, which was a great piece of base running, by the way. You walk. Rizzo to get to Zobrist, the World Series MVP. Serves it the other way. Almora comes around to score. The Cubs, who let the lead get away, now move back out in front, 7-6. Next batter's the pinch hitter, Miguel Montero. You remember his big knock earlier in the playoffs against the Dodgers. He squirts that one the other way, and the Cubs lead 8-6. So Chapman, who was distraught after the lead had been blown on his watch, and the rest of the guys go crazy, but they weren't able to tack on anymore. They had a couple of chances there with only one out. It's still 8-6. Carl Edwards, of course, it's Carl Edwards on to close things out. One away. But after a walk to Geyer, Edwards and Montero meet on the mound to discuss how to pitch to Davis. The home run hitting hero wasn't done. Still more magic in that bat. Stings it up the middle. Here comes Geyer, and it's 8-7, which means that now the Indians will bring the game-winning and World Series-winning run to the plate. Mike Montgomery never saved a game, comes in to face Michael Martinez, the two guys that certainly you thought would be meeting in the bottom of the 10th in Game 7 of the World Series, a ground ball. Bryant looks like he slips on the throw, but it's across the diamond into Rizzo's glove and then into his back pocket. They're going to have to fight that big guy to get the ball away from him. And it's all over. All the years, all the waiting, all the wait till next year's. Next year is 2016. Theo, what a legend that guy is. You kidding me? Ends the curse in Boston, ends the curse in Chicago. Bill Murray and Chicago celebrate. And Kris Bryant's there on your screen, and he's there with the headset on. And you're hearing me describe these moments. You lived them, man. As the ball comes to you, it looks like you slipped on the throw. What's going through your mind when you know we're going to win the World Series? What's that like?
Ah, man, it's something you dream of. I mean, seeing the ball coming to me, I mean, a slow roller, you know, with a fast runner, I knew how to get rid of it quick. And then, of course, I slip and, you know, my foot gives way. But it kind of just seems like, you know, things were going our way this year. And this was the year. And, you know, I feel so fortunate to be a Chicago Cub right now.
I'm sure you've seen the pictures from Chicago. You've heard from folks back there. You know what it means in a sense, but can you even quantify and comprehend what you all have done means to your city and all the folks who've rooted all these years for your team?
I can't right now. I mean, I'm so young. I mean, it's hard for me to see that, but, you know, anytime we're at home, we play in front of our fans, and you know, you see the struggles that they've been through waiting so long, and we can't wait to get home and see their faces. I'm sure there'll be lots of tears, and I mean, I'm just so happy we're able to, you know, do that for them.
We've heard so much about this Hayward meeting during the rain delay. Why do you think it was able to hit the reset button for you guys to kind of clear the fog from what happened after they tied it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was needed at the time. I mean, you know, obviously they battled back off of, you know, one of the best closers in baseball, and things we could have easily just gave up. I mean, seeing things weren't going the way we wanted them to, and you know, the rain delay was awesome for us. I mean, we got into the weight room, and you know, it was just kind of you know, just a supportive meeting for everybody, and knowing that we love each other, and you know, we're not just going to give up. We're not going to roll over. We made it this far, and you know, we're going to go out there and win this thing. And you know, sure enough, we did.
Well, I'd say when you wake up tomorrow, but it's already tomorrow, and I don't know that you'll sleep. But whenever it is that you lay your head down on a pillow and you wake up, you're going to be a World Series champion just like you are now. You had a phenomenal year. Congratulations on the role you played on it. Enjoy it. Thanks for the time.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You got it. That's Kris Bryant of the Chicago Cubs. Man, this is one of the all-time nights, man. Fun to be here. Sports are fun. Sports are good.
You can't always protect her. Make sure her tires will. The Michelin Premier Tire with EverGrip technology. Even when half worn, it's still safe. Safe when new, safe when worn.
Can you feel something without touching it? See something with your eyes closed. When everything is designed around you, the driver, you can. The new Mazda 3.
Introducing a paint to handle him and her and this. New Glidden Diamond Paint and Primer. Life tested to handle up to 2,500 scrubs. We know. We count it. New Glidden Diamond. Exclusively at the Home Depot. More saving. More doing.
Unleash your refreshing citrus kick. Do the do.
The hair on the face of a man is said to be as strong as copper wire. So what's a man to do? How about a razor with blades stronger than steel? The new Gillette Mach 3 is engineered to take on hair this tough. From metal stubble to manly stubble. The new Mach 3 with the world's #1 selling blades. Now starting under $10. Gillette, the best a man can get.
What to consider when considering home security?
Our neighbors down the street were robbed. It got me thinking. The only thing standing between my family and an uncertain world is 1.5 inches of wood. Considering everything I care about is behind this door, I want the best protection I can get in front of it. ADT.
For over 140 years, more people have chosen ADT to help stop crime. Get ADT starting at just $28.99.
Tested, trusted, proven. ADT.
Attention sleep apnea sufferers. If you use CPAP therapy and have private insurance or a Medicare replacement plan, AmeriCare CPAP may be able to help you get your CPAP supplies at little or no cost to you and free shipping.
Call 800-997-9210.
Are you being audited and do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, do not call the IRS alone. Call a tax doctor now.
I was on heroin.
I used crack cocaine.
We are the Addiction Network. And if you have a problem with drugs or alcohol, you need to call the number on your screen now.
Call 800-817-7343.
Are you a Christian author with a book ready to share with the world but need a publisher? We'll place your book for sale at all major mainstream booksellers, offering it to millions. We do it all.
Call for your free author submission kit at 800-622-1421.
SportsCenter with Scott Van Pelt is brought to you by Arby's. Baseball, basketball, sandwiches, and football. Arby's, we have the meats.
David Ross, his final game comes in because Lester comes in. Lester can't field his position at the moment because it just freaks him out. So that's got to be Ross's ball there on the Jason Kipnis grounder. He throws it away. Runners on second and third. The next pitch conks him square in the mask. And as we showed you, Santana and Kipnis come roaring in to score. It's 5-3. But Ross coming in to catch for Lester means that Ross is in the lineup. And in his final game, off of Andrew Miller, the untouchable, he hits a home run that makes it 6-3. And lifted after a walk. He was watching, as were his teammates, this moment that Kris Bryant just described, and Rizzo stole the ball, and they carried the man off the field, a champion in his last game. Hey, old man, how about it? You hit a home run in the Game 7, your last official at-bat. How do you put tonight into words, big fella?
Man, I mean, you know how lucky I am. I mean, these guys in this group, what a resilient group. That's got to be one of the top 5 all-time Game 7s. A very resilient group for a young group. They're tough as nails. For them to, the other team, you know, the Indians come back with that home run, and these guys continue to fight. I don't even have the words. I mean, besides me going out on top and these guys, you know, hitting a home run in Game 7 and getting carried off the field is a pretty special night. But I'm so happy for this group and lucky to be a part of it.
We talked to Rizzo and played the sound of him coming to you where he said, I'm a mess, and you're telling him just breathe. You're the guy they come to look for calm. When Cleveland hits that home run, how do you stay calm?
Well, I knew we still is tied, you know, and I'm thinking it's late in the game and 0-0. As long as we can keep it, you know, even, you know, it's the way I look at it. It's 0-0, and Game 7, we got a chance to do something special still. You know, none of that matters, and these guys continue to stay positive. They continue to push forward. And that's what they've been doing all year. It's a special group. That's why they're the best team in baseball, because there's a lot of talented young guys that are resilient and continue to fight.
We've gotten to know each other some. You know, I'm not the guy that's going to try to get you to cry and trick you or anything.
Thank God.
But hey, these guys, they love you, man, and they carry you off the field because they've loved you and they love what you represent to them and what you meant. What did that mean to you?
That meant everything. These guys, they treat me with so much respect that I don't know that I deserve, and I love these guys. They're such a special group, all the way, you know, from the bat boys to the front office. It's just a family atmosphere around here. You know, they treat me so special. I get on them and I tell them the truth all the time, and they show me so much love. These guys and the city of Chicago has shown me so much love because of these guys and what they say about me in the media. I'm just very, very fortunate to be a part of it. I really believe that.
You cannot write a better script. It cannot be done. You lived the movie, Rossi. We got to go enjoy this night, and I'll circle back with you somewhere down the road because I'd love to talk to you more about what this night was, because it was something to see. Congratulations, my friend.
Thanks, Scott. I appreciate you having me on.
Yes, sir. 39 years, 228 days, the oldest player in history to hit a home run in a Game 7, beats the record held by Willie Stargell. And the folks have been waiting a long time to buy some gear that says World Champions, and now they can do just that. Man, this has been a fun night. We're lining them up there, and now we have Chris Berman joining us. And boom, Game 7s in sports, whether it's the Stanley Cup or any playoffs, it's special. But given what was at stake tonight, and the teams and the cities, and how the game played out, what was this night like from your vantage point?
Well, first of all, you have to understand, Scott, that when the rains came and it was tied, there was a slight discussion of, you know what? They've waited long enough. Let's give them both the trophy. Of course, we're kidding. But the thought did cross our mind a little bit. This was, you know, a little bit of that St. Louis, Texas, but that was a Game 6. A little bit of the unorthodox moves, which changed 2 years ago in Game 7 with Bochy, but really with the weight of the franchises. Just think about what this would mean to either of them, and now know that, like the Boston scenes, the White Sox scenes, the San Francisco scenes, people will go and have a shot, a drink with their grandfather that passed away, with their aunt that passed away. All this will happen as a result of what we saw tonight. Do you think those were tears that were coming down? Or do you think it was the heavens going, There's something momentous that just happened. The Cubs won the World Series. As Game 7s go, hard to top it, don't you think?
I agree. I mean, you had to sense that when with the lead, and given that it was the Cubs, it was just never going to be comfortable or easy. The cosmic baseball gods, we're not going to allow this to be an easy thing. But the fact that they fought back after they surrendered the lead, I think it speaks to what this young, talented group is. And Chris, I believe, much like Boston, that given their talent, their youth, and their money, frankly, this could be just like Boston, the beginning of quite a run. Do you feel the same?
I do. I saw something very fitting, Scotty, that the final out, ground ball to Kris Bryant, throw to Anthony Rizzo. So to your point, that's who ended all of the years, okay?
Right.
I mean, not them alone, but fittingly 5-3. Those cornerstones, literally on the diamond and literally in the franchise, to your point, maybe the start of now something. And no one's going to win every year.
Of course not.
Because, of course not. But you're right. They have potential. They got a lot of things in place. But it's not about talking to the future at the moment. I think that for these Cubs, think about what they did this year. They were both the heavy, meaning 25-6 as they started, as you know, and Cinderella at the same time. Isn't that a heavy load to carry? A huge load. The heavy and Cinderella. What are we? Well, we're really good. We won, 114 games? That's a good way to start. To your point, something that may be unbelievably special, as if it could get more special than tonight.
And from the Cleveland vantage point, and we've revisited this as we've been on the air for a while here, I don't know how you could have anything but absolute admiration for the way Francona and his team fought. And sure that there's the ultimate disappointment, but I really believe you can distinguish yourself in defeat, and Cleveland absolutely did that, Boomer, didn't they?
Well, look, you feel bad for them in the big yes, to answer your question, of course they did. I mean, history will show, okay, the Cavs came back 3-1, Golden State. They had a 3-1 lead. Oh, they blew it. No, they didn't blow it. When Rajay Davis became Babe Ruth with a choked-up bat against a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, it was the young man from UConn, Avery Point, which is up by Groton, by the way, but that's a whole other story. I mean, you have to know where it is, although I didn't know where it is until he made the big leagues. So, yes, they distinguished themselves. You feel bad, the big picture, in that they were second in line.
Right.
Our drought's not as long as, but that meant nothing to these players. This is a team that wasn't expected to beat Boston, let alone 3, right? Mm-hmm. 3, certainly not expected to beat heavy-hitting Toronto. And they beat him 4-1. And a 3-1 lead on the Cubs. On paper, they weren't supposed to be able to go toe-to-toe. And if you really look between the lines, to your point, and this is not a knock on the pitching staff that they had, but when the 2 starters went out, a long time ago, they tried to do it with about 4 pitchers. Kluber and obviously, Miller, et cetera, and Allen and Shaw a little. A month's a long time to do that, Scotty, even when you have leads in most of these playoff games. And saw the same thing with Chapman. It's not that, he was used too much in the night before. You're driving on bald tires. There's ice on the road. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So Cleveland was trying to put it together by playing base, taking extra bases, playing good D. Although last night, Game 6, it betrayed them. They almost made it with putting it barely together.
Yep.
So in that way, they're totally to be commended, yes.
Boom, you know the beauty of this place better than I because you've been here longer. But it's fun when you drive up to work. You never know what you'll get on a given night. We knew tonight would be special. It was, and I'm ending it talking to you about Game 7. I appreciate your time. Be safe and get back here in one piece. Enjoy it, all right?
Yeah, I will, Scott. Thanks very much for having me on. I told you we'd do it again. We didn't know it would be this momentous. It was fun to be here.
Without question, Boom. Thank you.
See you, Scotty.
Game 7. As the Cubs end 108 years of suffering, if you like. President Obama, he roots for the guys on the South Side. We had a parade a while ago, no big deal. It happened. Cubs win the World Series. That's change even this Southsider can believe in. Want to come to the White House before I leave? We will wrap up this evening or morning. What is it? Is it Thanksgiving yet? What are we doing? Stan and Neil are live in Los Angeles in just a moment.
The sub above difference is time tested. Because we know there's only one way to make an original Italian. And we've stuck to it since 1956. Any questions? Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
You have 2 seconds. Go.
I won't let you down.
Two of the world's deadliest spies
We get our chance to make history.
built a life together. But on November 23rd,
Commander, we suspect your wife is a double agent.
the enemy may be closer than you think.
If she is, you must kill her.
Is this real?
I'm testing you.
You know what you have to do.
They're not trained to lie like you and me.
Allied, November 23rd.
Discover card. I'm not a customer, but I'm calling about that credit scorecard. Give it? Sure, it's free for everyone. Oh, well, that's nice. And checking your score won't hurt your credit. Oh! I'm so proud of you. Well, thank you.
Free at discover.com/credit scorecard, even if you're not a customer.
Style lets you stand out from the herd. What's inside sets you apart. The Cadillac Escalade. Enjoy our best offers of the year.
Who's ready to tailgate? Yeah! You know, they say the pregame is almost as important as the game. I gotta agree. You guys have your football practice. That's for you. But this is how we get ready. Tailgating! Woo! Do you have a pregame ritual? Like something wacky you do? Like
You should just scream in the mirror. I'm hungry.
I'm on it.
Larry Culpepper, this is for you. Oh. In your face.
I go down to pepper here. That's it. That's it.
21 years ago, we created Blue Moon. That's 7,671 moonrises, 48 eclipses, and a refreshing taste that's always stayed the same. Creatively inspired, artfully brewed, Blue Moon.
The sub above difference is grilled. Because if you're making a cheesesteak and you're not using a hot grill to make it, well, you're not making a cheesesteak. Give our grill a go. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Today.
Mr. Stewart, you can't fight this thing.
You kidding me, sir? Star Trek Beyond is a total blast.
Hold on to something!
And get the Blu-ray gift set with 3 collectible ships only at Walmart today.
Welcome to an epic journey to Baton Rouge, where one coach decides the fate of the college football universe. And there's one team who stands behind him to make sure his precious cargo gets to its destination. Nothing will stand in their way.
This corner step is sweet.
Well, almost nothing. Chevy Silverado, dependably getting game day to game day.
You're not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to believe you can do it. You're not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to pass the ball so much. Or play like a giant. No matter what. You're not supposed to play 40 minutes and make up 40 feet and make a defensive play. A defining moment of your career. You're not even supposed to be here. And yet, here you are.
SportsCenter with Scott Van Pelt. Brought to you by Michelin. A better way forward.
Ranger fans used to hear 1940, and then they win a cup, and you don't have to hear it anymore. You don't. If you're a Cubs fan, you don't have to hear about 45 and the Tigers. Don't have to hear about goats. Don't have to hear about 84. Big Sut. Tim Flannery through the legs of the bull, Leon Durham. Oh, no. Of course, Bartman in 2003. Yeah, let's just ignore the fact that we screwed up a double play and had a lead in Game 7. Let's blame the dude in the turtleneck, in the Walkman. That's done because this happened. Had the lead, lost the lead, got the lead back, held on. Bryant to Rizzo. I'll take the ball. And they're celebrating on the north side of Chicago. And they celebrate even though the lead got away. Aroldis Chapman figured to play a significant role in this game if the Cubs got the lead, and you wondered how much gas he would have in the tank given the fact we're just going to have this singing. I talk. It's late, whatever, just keep singing. You wondered how much gas would be in the tank for Chapman given the number of pitches that he had used, which was the most over the course of any three-game stretch. Then he gives up the home run and was just devastated. But again, the Cubs get off the deck. It was still just tied and come back to win. Afterwards, Aroldis Chapman with Pedro Gomez.
When Rajay Davis hit the home run off of you, what was going through your mind? ¿Qué tú estabas pensando en ese momento?
Nada, me dieron home run y dije, imagínate, me empataron el juego y dije, nada, o tratar de sacar ese out.
Yeah, they got the home run off me, they tied the game, and I needed to get an out.
Estaba empatado y entonces ya se iba a empezar a jugar de cero entonces.
And then, entonces?
Se iba a jugar de cero, empatado.
And then the game was at 0-0 at that point. Pero they let you go out the next inning. How important was that for you? Te dejaron entrar la próxima entrada. ¿Qué tipo de importancia fue para ti eso?
No, fue muy importante, ya que cuando salí, que yo cuando llegué al dogado, yo le dije a ellos que iba a regresar para atrás.
When I got to the dugout, I said I was going to go back out.
Importante para mí.
It was very important for me
para esa novena entrada.
to get that ninth inning and keep the game where it was. All right, you've been with the Cubs since July. How much do you want to stay? Has estado con los Cachorros desde julio. ¿Te quieres quedar?
Yo, nadie sabe, a lo mejor es un equipo que me abrió la puerta y me han dado tremendo tratamiento y nada, vamos a esperar. Pienso que sí, vamos a ver.
Maybe so. They've opened their doors to me and they've given me tremendous opportunity here. Let's see what happens. Dime cómo se siente ser campeón de la Serie Mundial. What is it like to be a World Series champion?
Contento, orgulloso de estar aquí.
Very proud of being here, very happy.
Y ganar una Serie Mundial con este equipo que tiene más de 108 años sin ganar. Imagínate tú, ¿qué más quiero?
And a club that has had to wait more than 100 years for this. Aroldis, muchas gracias, como siempre.
Gracias.
That seems like it would be really hard to do, and Pedro does it with remarkable ease. Salute to Cub fans, salute to Indian fans. I'm so glad that I wasn't more than emotionally invested because it would have killed me. What a World Series. Thanks for being with me.
Toward Bryant. He will glove it and throw to Rizzo. It's in time. And the Chicago Cubs win the World Series. The Cubs come pouring out of the dugout, jumping up and down like a bunch of delirious 10-year-olds. The Cubs have done it.
1908 versus 1948. When you wait that long, why not go extra innings in Game 7 to decide a World Series, and the title has been worth the wait. At SportsCenter, Stan Verrett, Neil Everett.
Yeah, Chicago, Cleveland, epic. Holy cow.
Let's check out the highlight. You see the celebration behind you. Winner take all. Game 7. Corey Kluber on the mound for Cleveland, looking for his third win and the third start in the series. Yet to allow a run in Cleveland this postseason, but he gave up a leadoff home run to Dexter Fowler, and now he's down 3-1 in the fifth. First pitch, Javi Baez homers, and so that's it. With John Lester watching, it landed from the bullpen into right field right there. Kluber pulled after 4 innings, 4 earned, no strikeouts. Remember, he had 8 strikeouts in 3 innings in his Game 1 start. How are the nerves with the Cubs leading?
I'm trying my best. It's understandably so, buddy. I'm emotional. I hear you. I'm an emotional wreck. It's only going to get worse. Just continue to breathe. That's all you can do, buddy. That's all you can do. It's only going to get worse.
Glass case on potions right now.
Yeah.
All right, Anthony Rizzo, David Ross mic'd up. David Ross, this is going to be his last game. He's retiring. Rizzo's next at bat, and the sage that Ross was, because Rizzo against Andrew Miller. They're getting to Andrew Miller. It's all over for Cleveland. 5-1 as Bryant was running on the pitch, came around to score. Kyle Hendricks. I mean, this is the guy who started out as Maddon's number 5 starter, beat the Dodgers, looked good. That's a 2-2 pitch to Carlos Santana that, with all the television toys, should have been a strikeout. Next pitch, now he walks Santana, and Maddon pulls Hendricks. And you talk about second-guessing him for Chapman in Game 6. They were third-guessing him right there. He puts in Lester, and he had said, hey, man, I don't want to put him into a dirty inning. I don't think it'd be appropriate. Now, I'm not sure if Santana on first is dirty, but Lester does not get away clean, facing Jason Kipnis. Bad on ball. Ross, who came in to catch Lester. We have the collision at first, and now we got runners on second and third. And everybody's going, Joe, what were you doing? Next batter, Francisco Lindor. Lester, wild, off the mask of Ross. Santana scores. And how about Kipnis wearing the PF Flyers, coming all the way from second to score from Chicago. It went from 5-1 with Hendricks, now 5-3 Lester, and momentum has definitely changed Cleveland's way. So Lester in the dugout watching, wondering what I do. Ross facing Miller. This is his first at-bat. Boom, boom. 39 years old, the oldest dude to homer in a Game 7, beating Willie Stargell's record by 3 days. Wow. Miller allows more runs in Game 7 than he had in the entire postseason. Cubs are up 6-3, it's over. But then Lester in the 8th, facing Jose Ramirez with 2 outs, shot to short. Addison Russell knocks it down but kicks it. There was some not sharp infield play in this game. Ramirez safe, and Maddon says, Lester, you know who he's going to? Yeah, that's right. Aroldis Chapman. Have arm, will throw. Brandon Guyer, though, doubles to right center. Ramirez comes around to score. It's 6-4. So if you're scoring at home, Chapman, 23 pitches in Game 2, 17 in Game 3, 42 in Game 5, and 20 in Game 6. And it was the Game 6 where he really got questioned. Here against Davis now. And Davis fouls off the heat at 99, and he's going to foul off more heat at 101, but his velocity was down, Chapman's. Velocity down. He'd end up throwing 35 pitches, and then he went down and into Davis, who went up and out. And all of a sudden, everything has changed. What a game. 6-4, 6-5, 6-6, 2-run shot. They go crazy. LeBron James, I mean, he went total Lou Ferrigno right there. And this game was tied at 6, and everybody's going, I can't believe this game. Top 9, though. Cubs mounting a rally. Brian Shaw facing Javi Baez, Jason Hayward on first, and into a field's choice. Yan Gomes throw ends up in center field, so now you got Hayward on third base. And they got Javi Baez talking with his third base coach, Gary Jones. And on a 3-2 pitch, you're wondering if they were on the same page. Because this, you would see maybe from the bad news Bears, but then again, Bears were Cubs before they were Bears. Fouls it off, and he's out. And Joe Maddon says, hey, man, Chapman's on me. That's night. Fowler with a chance to take the lead. Rope. Boom. Fantastic play to get Fowler at first. And then I can't stand the rain, and they bring the tarp out. They have a 17-minute rain delay, and during the break, the Cubs' Jason Hayward kind of was in charge of a team meeting in the visitors' weight room. And after the game, a lot of folks pointed to that meeting as why things went right 17 minutes later in the 10th. Kyle Schwarber leading off. Base hit, so a leadoff man's on. Pinch runner Albert Almora advanced to second on Bryant's fly ball. And then Francona says, I got to pick my poison. I'm going to walk Rizzo to get to Ben Zobrist. So he got 2 on, 1 out. Zobrist, uncomfortable at bat, but he'll take that down the third base line. Off Shaw, Almora comes around to score, and the Cubs now take a 7-6 lead after the rain delay. Next batter, Miguel Montero, pinch hitting. Both skippers use their entire roster. Montero. That'll work. Another RBI single. The Cubs 8-6. Lead. Chapman's off the hook. but he's still in line for the win. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Now they bring in Carl Edwards. He's a 48th round pick of the 2011 draft. Going to try and close it out. And he got one out, and then Jose Ramirez to ground out to Russell. So the Cubs are 1 out away. But remember, they were 4 outs away when Davis went yard and tied it at 6 in the 8th. So after a walk to Geyer, Edwards and Montero meet on the mound and say, we only need one. Davis is up. And Davis says, well, yeah, you only needed one strike. We only need 2 runs. Now we only need 1. Geyer scores, it's 8-7. So Mike McMahon says, I'm going to Mike Montgomery. Mike Montgomery, who came in from Seattle, has never saved a game, even in Little League. Okay? Michael Martinez. And watch Bryant here, because Bryant almost slipped right there. Slipped in the throw, makes the throw. Cubs win. Look at Rizzo, put the ball right in his pocket. You can see the presence of mind there. David Ross, his last game. Joe Maddon hugging his coaches right there. Unreal. Zobrist, who's going to be your MVP, coming in from the outfield to come over from Kansas City. 1-1 last year. There's Theo Epstein, who put this club together. More on him. Bill Murray, who visited with Sage and Michael Wilbon after the game, lifelong Cubs fan. Talked about his mom being a Cubs fan way back when. Ross carried out. Bryant, probably going to be your National League MVP. It smells like victory. It smells like 108 years of history. It will remain history, but 108 years of frustration ends. Longest title drought to end with a Game 7 victory. The previous had been the Senators and the Twins, 62 years. The Cubs, the 6th team to come back from a 3-1 deficit in a best-of-7 World Series, the first since the 85 Royals. First World Series title since 1908, snaps a drought of 39,465 days. Wow. Joe Maddon not interested in the 100-plus year drought. He's interested in that 17-minute delay.
Listen, they don't quit. We went in for that rain delay. They all got in a room, and they came together talking about we're not quitting. We're going to win this game. And we went outside and did it.
That rain delay probably is the best rain delay of all time. Will go down as the best rain delay of all time because the guys really came together.
They let you go out the next inning. How important was that for you? Te dejaron entrar la próxima entrada. ¿Qué tipo de importancia fue para ti eso?
No, fue muy importante, ya que cuando salí, cuando llegué al dogado, yo le dije a ellos que iba a regresar para atrás.
When I got to the dugout, I said I was going to go back out.
Importante para mí.
It was very important for me
Para esa novena entrada.
to get that 9th inning and keep the game where it was.
It's like a heavyweight fight, man. Blow for blow, everybody playing their heart out, and the Indians never gave up either. And I can't believe we're finally standing after 108 years, finally able to hoist the trophy.
I mean, seeing the ball coming to me, a slow roller, with a fast runner, I knew how to get rid of it quick, and then of course I slip and my foot gives way, but it kind of just seems like things were going our way this year, and this was the year, and I feel so fortunate to be a Chicago Cub right now.
They're going to make movies about this game, this series, this team. Wow, Chicago. We're coming home, champs, baby, yeah!
Joe, it's a special night for you. You showed us the hat that your dad used to wear. He's not with us. You've got your first World Series championship.
Right there. There it is. Put it in my back pocket in the 10th inning. There you go, right there.
That's Dad's cap.
Yep.
Joe, congratulations.
I want to know if Bartman gets a pardon now.
I think he's got to be the grand marshal of the parade, right?
You've got to give him a ring. That'd be one of the real ones, but he's got to be pardoned now. No team in the history of the 4 major pro sports had ever gone longer between titles than the Cubs. 3 of the longest droughts in big league history have been snapped in the last 13 years. You had the White Sox, you had the Red Sox. Now Cleveland, they're going to have to wait for baseball, but man, what a series this was from both sides.
That was an incredible game, to be a part of. And I talked before the game about being an honor to be in a game like that, but to be associated with those players in that clubhouse, it is an honor. And I just told them that, it's going to hurt. It hurts because we care, but they need to walk with their head held high. They left nothing on the field. And that's all the things we ever asked them to do. They tried until there was nothing left.
Tied up in the 8th inning was just unbelievable, beyond my wildest dreams. It was incredible, that feeling. Obviously, unfortunately, couldn't do the whole thing and win it all, but that was a great fight by our guys.
We started chipping away and coming back. It was, kind of felt like that's what this team does, and I think that certainly, it's just pretty impressive. Nobody gave up. Everybody was fighting like hell, and just unfortunately couldn't quite get there.
It hurts. It hurts that we lost. Of course, I wanted to finish it, but it's just part of the game. I don't know when we're going to be back, but I truly believe in what we have, and they deserve to win. They can honestly say they're the best team in the world.
Cleveland's played 2 winner-take-all World Series games, and both ended in heartbreak fashion. In extra innings, 1997, Edgar Renteria gave the Marlins the lead, and this time it was Ben Zobrist who put Chicago ahead to stay.
Interesting fact. Theo Epstein's grandfather, Philip Epstein, and his great-uncle, Julius Epstein, won an Academy Award for the screenplay for the movie Casablanca. It's one of the best movies ever, but it's only one story. The younger Epstein has authored 2 incredible stories now, both of them among the greatest in baseball history. 2 years after the Red Sox made him the youngest GM in baseball history at 28, Boston ended its 86-year World Series drought. Then they won again 3 years later. Things soured in Boston, and Epstein took over the Cubs, who, as you know, had waited even longer. That story got its fairy tale ending Wednesday. The talent gap between what Epstein inherited with the Red Sox compared to the Cubs is enormous. When he took over the Red Sox following the 2002 season, Boston was coming off a 93-win season and hadn't had a losing year since 1997. When he joined Jed Hoyer to take over the Cubs in October of 2011, the team was coming off a 91-loss season. And while Epstein obviously played a significant role in the Red Sox 2004 title, there's no doubt this year's Cubs are his team. 23 of the 25 players on the Cubs World Series roster were acquired by Epstein, compared to just 15 players on Boston's 2014. This year's team also skewed much younger, as the Cubs were built mostly through player development and trades, while the Red Sox were mostly built through free agency. Lifelong Cubs fan and Chicago native Michael Wilbon joining us now on SportsCenter. Mike, words are your tools. You use them to write and speak every day. Are you capable of putting into words what this means right now for Cub fans?
Not yet, Stan. I'm really not. You know what? And I was just thinking about this as we were walking down to the field after the game. You see, Kris Bryant make the throw over to Rizzo, and it's over, and you actually have to blink, and say, oh, my God, this happened. I need to see it again. It's one of those things that I record it at home. I'm going to fly to Chicago. I'm going to look at it again. I need to see it because the game was so bizarre. The game doesn't make any sense, the things that happened in it, from what was a 4-run lead and a 2-run lead and back to 3 and then tied on this absurd home run and the rain delay and Chapman and 35 pitches and Chapman coming back again. None of it made any sense, which, of course, is the way it has to go down if the Cubs are going to win. And if the Cubs and Indians, these two franchises forlorn for so long, are going to play a 7th game of the World Series, it doesn't make sense. You can't script it. And I need to go home and sit down frame by frame and watch this whole thing over again, because it was a blur at the time, and I don't know what to make of it.
I think for so many Cub fans, they were committed to seeing this through to the end. When was the moment for you where you said, you know what, I'm going to take this ride for as long as I have to, but I'm going to see the Cubs win it one day?
Probably when I was a freshman in high school. 14 years old at St. Ignatius, skipped the last class of the day. I could leave my high school at 12:45 and be in my seat by first pitch at 1:25. And you start doing that. In afternoon baseball, Stan, your parents didn't even have to know you had skipped the last class or had gone somewhere you weren't supposed to be and taken the train there and been home, because games lasted 2 hours, not 4. And that's probably then. So that's frighteningly close to 40-plus years, let's just put it that way. It's been a long time. And everybody's got a story. Everybody's got some kind of story, and that's why there were 20,000 people who were driven out of this stadium only by an electrical storm. Lightning had to strike near the ballpark to get people the hell out of here because nobody wanted to leave. Everybody just wanted to stay and have another bonding experience, but this one sort of the grandest bonding experience they'd had in their Cub lives.
What does this mean to the fan base to finally get this feeling?
You know, I don't know. I got to get back to Chicago tomorrow to see what they're thinking. It means, I don't know, this is like the grandest bucket list of all, right? Item on the bucket list that you cross off, but you don't really cross off because now when we say wait till next year, we got something else in mind, a repeat.
All right, Mike, well, we know you talked to Bill Murray, another lifelong Cubs fan. We're going to share that conversation coming up a little bit later in SportsCenter. Go enjoy it, my man.
Thanks, Stan.
Well, picture this. Michael Wilbon talked about Chicago winning. Chicago winning next year. Think about that. The Cubs are already a heavy favorite to do it again. What a World Series this was.
Years ago, we created Blue Moon. That's 7,671 moonrises, 48 eclipses, and a refreshing taste that's always stayed the same. Creatively inspired, artfully brewed, Blue Moon.
'Tis the season of joy and family.
How's my favorite brother-in-law doing?
Your room's upstairs.
But the liquor's in the dining room. Time to go get them ho-ho-ho. Give it to me. You locked me out.
Hey, neighbor, let me get you out of here.
It's not that kind of party. Do you want some stuffing, baby? Boy, I'm a grown woman. I'm gonna stab you with this fork. Do you hear me? I would love that.
Rated PG-13.
Studies show the average attention span is 8 seconds.
Cavs trail the Clippers by 3. There's only one person to go to right now. Number 39, Tony Vargas! Shoots, and he scored!
Good thing the redesigned Kia Forte comes with available lane keep assist to help you from drifting, even if your mind does.
I always take the road less traveled. And if the road hasn't been traveled at all, I make my own road, pave my own path, build a shower to clean me off with the power of Old Spice Dirt Destroyer so I can get to the game.
It's time to level up, way up, with the Air Hogs Helix Sentinel drone, the new groundbreaking first-person video drone. See exactly what your drone sees because it streams live HD video directly to the smart device in the headset and to multiple devices at the same time. Plus, it records video so you can share it with friends. Now, you can order your own Air Hogs Helix Sentinel drone with free shipping during this special TV offer at GetHelixSentinel.com, or you can just visit one of these retailers. Batteries and smart devices not included. Must be 18 years or older to order. From Spin Master.
SportsCenter, brought to you by Hacksaw Ridge. From director Mel Gibson. In theaters Friday. Welcome back to SportsCenter Live from Los Angeles.
The president's a White Sox fan. Yeah. He's shouting out the folks from the north side after they take their first championship in 108 years.
But the First Lady, she's a Cubs fan. She put on Twitter that said she's been following the Cubs her whole life.
Secretary of State Clinton as well also sent her congratulations.
Okay. Oh, yeah, let's check out Sherwin. He's across the street at a retirement home from Wrigley. This is why sports are great.
Let's see. Wait! Yay! I'm going crazy! Yay! Woo!
Again, 39,466 days since the Cubs won the World Series in 1908. Now, that fella wasn't around then, but he's around now, and to see his reaction there, that was when Rizzo took that shot down the left field line, and there are a lot of happy Cubs fans, and one of them you may be familiar with more than others. His name is Bill Murray, and he's with Michael Wilbon and Sage Steele.
You know, I have to say, we heard some crazy loud cheers for these players, but Bill Murray, as you're walking towards the dugout 30 seconds ago, the cheers you got from these Chicago fans, how are you doing?
Well, I'm doing all right. But I got cheers because I buy a lot of drinks. I've been working real hard these last couple of months. Working real hard. Michael, that sun is reflecting on your head.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah, can you see that?
I can do that.
Oh,
so my head's a little big.
We need to loosen that a little bit.
He's got a big. How you doing, Peanut?
The hair is not good. This is not good.
We can mess with
This is not cute. Why not?
There you go.
Yeah, you need power to put it down on this mop.
Does this feel as good as you thought it would? You've been waiting for this. You've been going to Wrigley Field for I don't want to say how many years, but half a century plus.
Yeah, more. And I've been thinking about my father. My father would have liked to have been here. My grandfather. A lot of my uncles, the people that bought me Frosty Malts at the ballpark and, lemonade on Ladies' Day, my mother. My mother died 28 years ago today.
Oh, my goodness.
And so this is kind of where all of my brothers and sisters are all thinking about her today. So, I'm not saying she's responsible, but she's saying that.
Does it feel melancholy? It seems like a lot of people went silent after the initial outburst because of feelings like yours.
I wish you didn't say that word because it makes me want to spring tears. It really does. And the song and everything, it's emotional. I figured I'd be crying. I cried just a little bit for a second. But this is beautiful. This is beautiful. Here we go. Here we go. We've all been waiting for this for so long. I mean, think about it. It's more than a century. No one has furniture that old, really. Beds, mattresses. No one has a mattress that's 108.
We saw you earlier today at the hotel. No offense, but you were a basket case. And pacing the rooms, pacing the floors back and forth.
You weren't alone.
What was it like? And he was too, I was going to say. What was it like for you leading up to this, again, after all of these years?
Well, I thought to myself that I was going to try to be a good sport no matter what happened. I knew I had to remind myself. I remember getting upset once in Little League when I struck out at the end of the championship game, and I thought, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that again. So I was working on that all the day long, thinking about that, and not going to get upset with people just that had been wearing the same clothes for the whole week because they were feeling it was unlucky. People stink around this ballpark right now, stink real bad. There's some really raw men and women in this ballpark right now. Thank God we're outdoors. If this were in a dome, they'd have to spin the roof open. It's raw up there, I'm telling you. The jinx thing, can't tell you how many people did not change their clothes. All right.
Enjoy. Enjoy.
Thank you, Bill. Appreciate it.
Wow. That's perspective between the two of you. Good job holding it together, Mike Wilbon. Back to you guys.
Listen, I'm going to be honest. I'm a bit ripe, too. The Cubs are ripe to do it again, though.
I was going to tell you, but
yes,
recognize it.
Thank you. Wes, you don't want to. We don't hardly see each other, so I know you want to stay on good terms. Las Vegas Superbook, Westgate. The Cubs are a 3-1 favorite to do it again. Next closest, Dodgers, Nationals, Red Sox at 10-1, followed by the Mets, Cleveland, and the Astros at 12-1.
Man, Vegas doesn't let them enjoy it for long, do they? No. They got money to make. Western Conference contenders from Staples Center, Thunder in town to visit the Clippers, Russell Westbrook. The emphasis was on scoring for him in this game. Mid-range jumper was working. Coming off triple-doubles in his last two games, working on Chris Paul, create some space with the fadeaway, and then putting the moves on DeAndre Jordan, who got caught in the switch. And he gets there. Now, Jordan's long. I mean, he's longer than the line at the DMV. 7 foot 6 inch wingspan, but Westbrook able to keep the ball away from his outstretched arm. 16 points in the first half of Westbrook. Thunder up 49-41 at the break. Midway through the third, Oklahoma City leading by 1. Westbrook for the culture. 14 of 30 from the floor. We'll give you another look at that one. Nobody's getting in the way there. And check out Steve Ballmer, the owner of the Clippers. He's like, wow, that guy's something else. Thunder lead 57-54. He's like, is there an app that we can get to stop him? Later in the fourth quarter, Thunder up 79-78. Westbrook with the rip. Chris Paul nearly had a triple-double, 15 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists, but he gets ripped there. And then Westbrook again, 35 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Thunder hang on to win at 85-83. Next up for OKC, a trip to see the Warriors and his old buddy Kevin Durant.
What speculation? The other team was going to perform.
Who said that?
In other words,
I did.
That's where you went wrong.
well, in other words, you lose one of the best players in the NBA. Reload with some other guys, but the sense was you'd fall off a little bit.
And who said that?
A lot of folks, I would say.
That's where they went wrong.
He texted you saying that when he left, and that was the wrong way to do it. Did you read any of those comments?
Like I said in Oklahoma City, I don't know if you guys know, but I told you guys I'm not answering any more Kevin questions. If you want to talk about basketball, I'm more than welcome to be able to talk about that. But other than that,
For an early season, was this on your mind as important as a big game for your team?
What did I just say?
About Kevin?
No. I play every game like it's my last. Thank you.
All right, so let's go from Game 7 of the World Series right into some NBA drama.
Yeah.
If Westbrook plays anything like he has in his first 4 games, he could join this list. Only one player has ever scored 50 points in a game against Kevin Durant. That was Kevin Love in the double overtime game in Oklahoma City in 2012.
Stan and I do every show like it's our last.
Because we never know when it might be.
Baseball, exactly. Baseball, this was the last game. And man, what a game it was. Our World Series coverage continues. Tim Kirchin joining us. Party on! Excellent.
"21 years ago, we created Blue Moon. That's 7,671 moonrises, 48 eclipses, and a refreshing taste that's always stayed the same. Creatively inspired, artfully brewed, Blue Moon.
The hair on the face of a man is said to be as strong as copper wire. So what's a man to do? How about a razor with blades stronger than steel? The new Gillette Mach 3 is engineered to take on hair this tough. From metal stubble to manly stubble. The new Mach 3 with the world's #1 selling blades. Now starting under $10. Gillette, the best a man can get.
Swinging the rod in average flannel. Swinging the rod in Duluth free swinging flannel. Duluth Trading Free Swingin' Flannel. Let freedom swing. Only at DuluthTrading.com.
This is what happens when you got a kid who does not listen and adds more bubbles to her jacuzzi tub. And look at this. Look at this.
I was on heroin.
I used crack cocaine.
We are the Addiction Network. And if you have a problem with drugs or alcohol, you need to call the number on your screen now. Addiction is a disease, and you can't go it alone. The call is free, and so is the consultation. If you have private insurance, your treatment could be covered with no out-of-pocket cost. So call the Addiction Network now.
Call 800-824-4976.
Avenged Sevenfold are back with their new album, The Stage. Avenged Sevenfold, The Stage. Get it now on applemusic.com/Avenged Sevenfold.
Attention all users of the dangerous blood thinners Xarelto or Pradaxa. You may have been exposed to the serious risks caused by these medications. Call Guardian Legal Network now. There are time deadlines to file your claim. If we don't win, you pay nothing.
6-6, top 10. And the 1-2, and a swing and a ground ball past Ramirez down the left field line. In to score is Almora. On his way to third is Rizzo. Leaping at second base is Zobrist. And the RBI double has given the Cubs a 7-6 lead.
Our guys were so fantastic in that latter part of that game. People have no idea. Once the home run was hit by, oh, excuse me, man.
That's okay. Here you go. I got a towel right here.
Once that home run was hit by Davis.
Yep.
The way our guys rallied was incredible. I've never seen anything like it.
When you have a team like this is a team of destiny, isn't it? I mean, it's a historical aspect as well.
Yeah, none of that's lost on us, but I also think it's it's going to take a couple. Sorry, man. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Let's head out to Cleveland, and in 20 years from now, a kid comes up to you and says, hey, Mr. Kirchen, what do you remember about the 2016 World Series? What are you going to tell him?
Well, I'm going to tell him, Neil, that was one of the great World Series games that I've ever seen, one of the great Game 7s of all time, certainly. And I think you could make a case, given that one team hadn't won since 1908, the other hadn't won since 1948. It was a 3-1 deficit, and a team came back in this. The whole Terry Francona dynamic, the whole Theo Epstein story, the whole Corey Kluber story, the number of people that were here and in Chicago, the number of people around the country that watched, that this might have been the greatest night and the biggest night in Major League Baseball history, given all the dynamics. And then we got this ridiculously great game, 8-7, in which the Cubs led by 5-1 and then 6-3 in the 8th inning. There were so many moving parts. There was so much second guessing. There were so many amazing things that happened in that game. Trust me, I will never forget this for the rest of my life, and neither will anybody else who was here tonight or really who watched on television.
A lot of second guessing for Joe Maddon. There was Chapman in Game 6. There was the pulling of Hendricks and putting in Lester in this game. Is there anything to second guess Terry Francona on?
Well, I guess you could say that he left Corey Kluber in too long. I guess that's the second guess. But we know, Neil, that he had one of the great postseasons ever going before he pitched in this game. But he was on short rest. He clearly did not have his best stuff, and he gave up 4 runs. So maybe you can say, hey, you had the great rested bullpen. You had Andrew Miller. You had Cody Allen. You had everyone ready to go, and you stayed with Corey Kluber a little bit too long. But he's a Cy Young contender this year. He has had a spectacular postseason. So I think if you're second guessing, it's not a real strong one.
On television, Tim, it sounded like a Cubs game in Cleveland. What did it feel like in Cleveland?
Well, there were a lot of Cub fans here. There's no denying that. Now, having said that, the Indians really supported their club tonight, and it was a tremendous atmosphere around here. But we all know how well those Cubs fans travel. I've seen it in ballparks all across America, and there were certain points tonight where you heard the cheer of the crowd, and if you weren't watching the game, you weren't sure if it was the Indians or the Cubs. That's how many Cub fans were here tonight, and they had every right to be. It's been 108 years.
The Cubs already talking about that this is a franchise and a roster that's built to last. How do you see this moving forward?
Well, I think they're right. Remember, in this World Series, Neil, the Cubs became the only team to start 6 players in a World Series game aged 24 or younger. They are so young, and they are so talented. And the Javi Baez's and the Kris Bryants of the world are only going to get better from here, not worse. They have more money than almost anyone to deal with. They have prospects to trade if they have to. They have the groundwork to be a really good team, Neil, not for next year and not for 5 years, but in theory, this team could be really good for maybe another 10 years. That's what Theo Epstein has built here. He ended the curse in Boston, and now he's ended 108 years without a title in Chicago. An amazing story written in Chicago this year.
Tim Kirchen, you're the best. Thanks for sharing another baseball season with us.
Thank you, Neil.
All right, let's talk NFL now. Just 3 weeks ago, it was smooth sailing on the Vikings ship. They were 5-0 and on top of the NFC. But now, following 2 straight losses coming off an open week, offensive coordinator Norv Turner said bye to the team on Wednesday. Turner said he had some differences of opinion with head coach Mike Zimmer. Sam Bradford helped them survive the losses of Teddy Bridgewater and Adrian Peterson, but both starting tackles are on injured reserve now, too, and Bradford might not survive. He's been sacked 11 times in the last 2 games. Pat Shurmur worked with Bradford with the Rams and the Eagles, and he takes over Zimmer's offense now.
How shocked were you when Norv told you he was going to resign?
I was very, very surprised. I wasn't going to make a change. I had no indication that this was going on, but he was pretty set in his ideas and his reasons, and and I hope that we always continue to be friends.
What did you find out, Sam?
My wife actually called me. She had, I guess, got an alert on her phone from one of the media outlets, so I was pulling into work and found out. I obviously didn't see this coming. I mean, I was in here yesterday talking to him and, didn't really think anything was different. So, I guess really just very surprised when I found out.
For Vikings fans, the offense has been offensive. They're the second worst team in the NFL in both yards per game and yards per play. Is that bad?
It's not good.
Yeah, they've been held to just 10 points in each of their last 2 games. Over Turner's 3-year tenure, Vikings have averaged the 3rd fewest yards per game in the NFL.
What if I told you we had the top 10 plays from this World Series? Is that something you'd be interested in?
Absolutely.
I mean, how are we going to do just 10? We may have to go 20, 30. We may never end. Baseball just ended.
Hey, Chicago, what do you say? The Cubs are gonna win today. They're singing, go Cubs, go! Go Cubs, go! Hey, Chicago, what do you say? The Cubs are gonna win today. Go Cubs, go! Go Cubs, go! Hey, Chicago, what do you say? The Cubs are gonna win today. They got the power, they got...
We process hundreds of thousands of cases a week, millions a year. Fact, if you were to stack all of them end to end, one on top of another, you'd have a case ladder so tall.
Whoa! I'm in here!
I'm sorry, Sergeant. I can't touch a gun.
From Academy Award-winning director Mel Gibson. You are free to run into battle without a single weapon to protect yourself.
While everybody else is taking life, I'm gonna be saving it.
You'll have to trust me. Did you figure this war is just going to fit in with your ideas?
You better come home to me.
I'm scared.
Come on, stay with me!
Hacksaw Ridge. Rated R. In theaters Friday.
21 years ago, we created Blue Moon. That's 7,671 moonrises, 48 eclipses, and a refreshing taste that's always stayed the same. Creatively inspired, artfully brewed. Blue Moon.
Where's your pain?
Right here.
Right here.
Both elbows.
Take on the pain. Introducing CopperFit. Advanced cutting-edge compression garments designed to help relieve muscle and joint soreness.
Where has this been for the last few years? If I can put this to the rigorous test of an NFL athlete and it can work for me with all the joint pain that I've had, it'll definitely work for you. I pushed this product to the max and it performed great at every level.
Helps reduce swelling for faster recovery.
CopperFit has helped me a lot, and I've seen a huge difference. The pain I was having literally felt like someone was stabbing me in the knees. I have pretty much lost all hope. They said you need to quit. It's not going to get better. I refused. To me, I feel really good inside, and I've accomplished something, and CopperFit has helped me do that.
High-performance compression fabric designed for faster recovery, support, and guaranteed relief of muscle aches and pains. And blended with powerful odor-reducing copper. 2 technologies, 1 ultimate compression garment.
I definitely recommend it to anybody to give it a try that has pain. I noticed that a couple of days after, it didn't really hurt. And I was like, wait a minute, is this real? This is very real. And just with the CopperFit, honestly, for the first week, I've noticed results.
Comfortable, lightweight compression sleeves, tough enough for any active lifestyle.
Construction isn't light duty. I couldn't pick up a gallon of milk
Within a few days of using the Copper Fit, mobility in my arm was 100% better. It's almost like winning the lottery.
Don't make your body wait another minute. Call 1-800-607-8958 or on the web at getcopperfit.com. Get your choice of one compression elbow sleeve or knee for $19.99. Order now and you'll receive a second sleeve. Just pay separate shipping and handling.
Try the Copper Fit and watch your life change.
Feel the relieving power of compression. Feel the power of Copper Fit.
I could tell right away ZipRecruiter was going to make hiring a lot easier.
Go to ZipRecruiter.com and post to over 100 job boards with one click. Then easily select the best candidates from one list. Try it for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/world.
Welcome back to SportsCenter Live from Los Angeles.
Used to be a 3-1 lead was safe, right?
Yeah.
But a couple of years ago, you had the Clippers blowing it against the Rockets. Remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
Then last year, you had the Thunder blowing it against the Warriors.
Right.
And then you had the Warriors turning around and blowing it against the Cavaliers. And there was some gloating about that in Cleveland.
Yeah, you saw LeBron James' Halloween party.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, rest in peace, Golden State.
And then Cleveland on the bad end of a 3-1 situation. And this one is the Cubs come back.
Yeah, from 3-1 to 10 plays that are not baseball related on this here Wednesday night. They're top plays, if you will.
Let's go. Number 10, Park School Bruins field hockey. Sydney Lowe air dribbles the ball on her stick, finally drops it in and scores. Park School beat Catholic 3-1 in the IAAM semifinal.
East Lake Cup, it's college golf. Brian Baumgarten from the 8th hole bunker. How's your game going, Stan?
Going really well.
Really well?
Going really well. Keeping that spine angle, that's the key.
Keeping the spine angle? That's what my chiropractor said. I don't even golf. Neil, your spine angle, bad. Bad. Baumgarten, good, although he lost 2-1.
Almost hold out from a bunker Wednesday morning. Just missed it. My buddy Ron thought it was in. Penguins and Ducks at number 8. Tom Sestito with the nice pass to Matt Cullen. One-timer. And he's got himself a goal.
Mark, what is this, 7, yeah. Russell Westbrook says he doesn't want to talk about Kevin Durant. Now, I know what it's like to be working with a guy and then have him just leave you. I hear you.
I'm just never going to live this down. UEFA action, Warsaw, Real Madrid. And this dude with a brilliant running shot.
Oh, what's his name?
And Warsaw with the goal. Hey, if you saw, you know who he is.
This dude, I'm rubbing off on
you don't even need me to call his name to know who he is when he does stuff like that.
Stan's reading out of my pronunciation guide. That's where I got this dude. Alley-oop, Stephen Davis. Slam me. Wright State over Cedarville. College basketball begins.
Number 4, Pistons and Nets. Pistons on the breakaway. Trevor Booker says, no, you don't. Smack that. Nets win at 109-101.
Hey, the song remains the same, even though Derrick Rose now wearing a Knicks uniform. Oh, didn't you say your name was Ramblin' Rose? Same old song and dance though for the Knicks. They're on the short end of a big win by Houston at the Garden.
All right, we got drama. Blazers and Suns, 1:15 apiece. Final seconds of overtime. Eric Bledsoe says, don't worry, I got us. Rattles that home.
That's against Lillard. Look at Lillard's on him.
Bledsoe, the rising sun. As Phoenix takes it 118-115 on his game.
When's the last time you saw Gareth Bale in top plays?
When's the last time what?
Good seats still available. Just go with me on it.
All right.
Bale with the nice volley. This match would end in a draw. Again, good seats available. Great shot, though.
All right, NBA Friday on ESPN. Derrick Rose back at Chicago. Knicks taking on Dwayne Wade and the Bulls at the United Center. And then it's Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and the Warriors in L.A. to take on the Lakers at Staples Center. Coverage tips with NBA Countdown, charged by Dew at 7 Eastern. Also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN.
SportsCenter is brought to you by Fidelity Trade Talk. Trade with an advantage with smart tools, top independent research, and trading expertise at fidelity.com/trade talk.